Hey all, welcome back to Neon's Movie Reviews. I'm Neon, it's my buddy Nate.
What's up?
And today we are WandaVision episodes 4 and 5. Before I dive into that, just want to say if you enjoy this content, please give this video a like, really helps out the channel, and make sure to subscribe as well for new content. But episode 4.
Lieutenant Trouble.
Was really fun in my eyes. I was starting to get tired of just the WandaVision stuff. I don't know about you, but with episode 4, it was just a nice change of pace.
Mm-hmm. And you got to see some of the scarier side of the snapback.
Oh yeah, the people coming back might have been even more scary than them disappearing.
You know, it's something that we talked about that I'm sure everybody's talked about, but the movies haven't really addressed is. So what about the people who are on like a transatlantic flight?
Mm-hmm.
So do they rematerialize at like 20,000 feet with no plane above them, no plane around them?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
or
then they're dead anyway.
Or do they just pop into the laps of a bunch of people, or
right.
or if there's people in those seats, do they just Cronenberg into one another?
Right.
Like,
once there was a field and now there's a building, is it like,
mm-hmm.
you know, they're now stuck in the wall, all gross, arms, the Philadelphia experiment, arms coming out of.
Well, and in Endgame, they even confirmed that it was half of all animals, plants, everything.
Half of all life.
Yeah, and when we see the trees are back and everything, and birds and stuff right after the snap at the end. So, like, is your house gonna just get destroyed by a bunch of trees? And
right.
Like, yeah.
So, I mean, there's that immediate, hey, this is what happens.
Yeah, you were seeing it from inside a hospital, so it's higher up, so it was, those types of things wouldn't really come into play. But, yeah, that was fucking scary as all hell, that concept. And I like the nurse just being like, you've been gone for years, like, I don't know how to tell you this. But that episode as a whole was just absolutely fantastic. I like that it was, as you went on, you constantly got the other side to little things that you had seen in previous episodes.
And I can make a pen float through the air. Who needs to abbreviate?
Look, I know it's been a crazy few years on this planet, but he's dead, right?
Darcy comes back. So does I can't think of the cop's name. Jimmy Woo, yes. And he is
Agent Woo.
much better utilized in this, I feel, than he was in Ant-Man.
Darcy's better utilized than she was in her films as well.
Yes.
I mean, I know there were some people complaining about it online. I'm just like, I actually read an article on a website. I won't name the website, but I know I told you what it was named. And the review of the episode, I don't mind if somebody doesn't like it, but they referred to these characters as being new characters. And then when someone corrected them in the comments section, they said, well, I didn't think anybody would remember, so I just put them that way in the article. Like, how, you don't remember Natalie Portman's assistant from 2 movies? And
right.
You can't remember him. And even if you thought your audience wasn't going to remember, I mean, put the movie in parentheses right after you're talking about their name. But
right.
But they were both much better utilized. There's not just comic relief. Yeah, even though she's still funny.
She's still both of them
lines
still
are supposed to be.
Yeah, both of them are. He is more funny than she is, but yes, they are still written that way. But you see other sides to their characters as they're not just the comic relief. And I'm really enjoying the more exploration of S.W.O.R.D. as an agency as well. The timeline now is interesting as well, because this kind of puts it right around or right before Far From Home.
Right. Because it's 6 months after she came back. So if we're looking at that, then
She maybe had a month or two to recoup.
Right. So Peter comes back at the end of Infinity War, and then Far From Home happens a few months after that. So this is either right, like what you said, either right at that time or immediately after.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking that it would be maybe right around the same time, because then Spider-Man 3 can pick up moments, or at least no further than weeks after the end credit scene where his identity is revealed.
Right. Well, you can do that, and then also it makes more sense as to why Mysterio would go with that explanation. It's if this is happening around the world, well, maybe I can piggyback off that.
All right.
They're not going to question it, which they never seem to. So, yeah.
Well, we got to see that the veil was breaking a little more in episode 4. That's when we had the birth of the twins.
Yep.
Towards the end, and the
that was episode 3. Episode 4 was the complete departure.
The episode. You're right. So, we saw the birth again through
the television
through the rerun, and it's an I don't know. I like seeing it from the other side, like you said at the end of, I think it was the first or the second episode, where they showed the notebook and the pen get dropped, and then we got to see that again in 4. We had to see where he was talking through the radio.
Right.
She was like, "No, guess it didn't work." Well, it's because I got glitched out. They hadn't caught on to the glitching out part, I guess, until episode 5.
Right.
But no, it's a good series. I'm liking where they're going with it. I was excited for episode 5. For episode 5, I watched it before I came into work. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think, is there, before we move into episode 5, is there anything else in episode 4 that I wanted to talk about? They continue to play around with the aspect ratio, which is a lot of fun, especially in that end a little bit.
And that's where they've started to refer to the hex. Which in the comics, that her power is known as the hex ability.
Yeah.
And the field around the town is a hexagram.
Right.
Which, again, we kind of with the twins, the twins in the comics are soul shards of Mephisto's. Hexagon is 6 perfectly equal sides. Number 6 popping up again.
It's all
to
not have him pop up is going to be
again with the stained glass window that I pointed. I mean, a lot of people have talked about it. It's not like I was the first person to see it, but
right.
The stained glass window in the Loki trailer that has Mephisto or what is probably Mephisto.
Yeah.
So
it's seeming like we're going to go there.
But like you said, moving it towards House of M. I think maybe he's granted her this ability, and it's going to go further than just Westview.
Or maybe she, because of her own limitations, he just unloosened
the restraints on her.
Yeah.
Right.
Because all of this is well within her power sets and everything, so it's not like she needed any extra push. It's more of just like somebody needed to show her how to tap into it.
Because because her power is very strange in the comics. It's like it's reality manipulation, but it's through probability manipulation.
Yeah.
You know, it's a strange power to explain to a public that, you know, probably has never read any of the comics.
But they do a fun way of addressing that, because I don't know, I think it's, yeah, let's just go into episode 5. But I think in episode 5 she talks about not being, you know, how crazy it is to keep track of, you know, everybody's dental appointments,
right.
And
making sure that everybody gets to work on time to their dentist appointments. And she's starting to get a little frustrated with the control that she's, you know, the level of concentration that she's having to kind of set aside for, look, this is the best I can do here because I'm also running this entire town.
Yeah. And episode 5 got to be a lot of fun. For me, the best, most standout moment was when they sent the drone in from the 80s.
No joy.
Wait, my controls aren't working. Reconnect patch.
Disregard. Take the shot.
And then...
With the missile?
Yep. And then she drags that thing out.
Is this yours?
And it's just like... because I remember I was watching it with my girlfriend, and we were just like, all right. And we see her just walk out, and it was just like, oh, she's just bringing this out herself. Oh boy, this is gonna be a fantastic scene. And then she does, you know, pretty much the equivalence of the Bane scene, just like, do you feel powerful? When she just like takes over all of his men, and, you know, all of them are trained on him.
I actually saw that as kind of a throwback to one of the introductions of Magneto in X-Men, which was who Magneto is her father in the comics, but in Magneto in the X-Men, when they all draw their guns and he turns their guns on them.
I could see that too.
And then, you know, all the cops are standing there with their guns pointed at him, and he says, you know, something to the effect of, like, you silly humans, you're Homo sapiens and your guns.
Right.
Ultimately, he does not kill them, just like she doesn't kill him. And another interesting point about that is that Feige was an associate producer on X-Men. So
that's where you got to start. Yeah.
So, you know, they might have just thrown that in for him too. You know, like, oh, remember when you were part of another movie that did this? But but no, I love that.
That was a great
She's got
moment.
into all their heads at the same time.
Yep, and I love when they were talking about, you know, showing the footage of her breaking in and stealing Vision, and
Until very recently, it was the top secret location of the Vision's corpse.
and you know how that was against his wishes to be resuscitated, but as you saw, he was in multiple pieces being experimented on in a lab. There's no mention of that being in his wishes.
Right. Right. I'm not quite sure he would have been okay with just weapons labs taking him apart to figure out how Ultron did it.
Right. Yeah. So I like that they're keeping things in the gray. Like these are more the good guys, but they're not good.
Well, and when the director was like, shouldn't have any code name.
That was great.
She's like, no special name, no nothing. It even made me question it. Because I came to you the next day, and or later on that day, I was like, all right, I don't want to spoil anything about the episode because you hadn't seen it yet. And I'm like, Bud, was Wanda ever known as Scarlet Witch in the series so far? And yeah, you're very certain that no, they hadn't referred to her as such yet.
Yeah,
so
she's always just been one of the twins or Wanda Maximoff.
So that maybe we're now going to see the
witch.
Origin of the Scarlet Witch. Yeah,
and yeah, I'm very curious to see where they're going to use her from here on out. Like, because I think she's going to be a mini saga villain. almost kind of a Loki type for a little bit, where like she's gonna go dark, but she's still going to be redeemable. They're not gonna make her do anything unredeemable. It's all going to, like, you can all relate and understand why she's making these choices.
You mean unredeemable? Like this is where I told you I rewatched the Apocalypse.
Yes.
Like Magneto's killed tens, if not hundreds of millions of people by just having metal rototill these cities all across the world. And then suddenly he's like, oh, you know what? Yeah, actually, I'm going to stop doing that. Truce?
Right.
It's like, what? I think you're past the point of truce at this point.
You go to prison for life.
You might have had a case to get off for what you did to the cops, but you're not getting away with this.
Yeah, that is understandable. It's but yeah,
you're not getting away with this.
No,
you're already in trouble for what you did before. You're definitely not getting off the hook now.
Yeah.
But no, and so I mean, like we keep seeing these like homages to the other characters.
That's really fun. I like that Vision is questioning things a lot more now.
Then we got the ding dong.
Well, I was gonna talk about the Norm first, where he frees Norm from her control for a moment.
Please help me. What day is it? How long has it been?
And like that moment was...
He's like, it hurts.
Yeah.
She's hurting.
Yeah. And then he puts him back in, and then like even Vision doesn't remember. Like he has no memory of anything prior to this.
Right.
So I'm wondering, like, because Vision is dead, and we keep seeing the glimpses of him with that, in his like dead form. Did they revive him just to kill him again, or is he going to be actually revived? Because I have an issue with them reviving him just to kill him again. It's like, it's the Emperor situation all over again. Like, if you're going to bring him back, have a reason to.
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be reviving him just to kill him again.
Yeah.
I'd like to see... I love the character. I'd love to see Paul Bettany come back and stay in the MCU for a long time. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to be easier for them to... Well, Wanda's figured out that what she was doing to Vision was wrong, but she's still pissed. Or maybe they recover his body from her or something. But I don't see them doing it. I mean, but hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah,
hopefully I'm wrong.
I hope so. But I'm feeling that same way too. But it's just like, I hope not.
Right.
But yeah, that doorbell. And I like when it happens too. He's just like, she's like, I didn't plan for that. And it's just like, I can't believe that.
Right. He's like, at this point, the statistics are against you.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. You don't believe me.
Wanda, I want to, but at this point, I'm ignoring statistics entirely.
And I'm just or he said, if I believe you at this point, I'm just ignoring statistics.
Mm-hmm.
And we get Pietro.
Yep.
Long lost bro, get to squeeze his stinking sister to death or what?
She recast Pietro?
We get Quicksilver from the X-Men movies.
From the Fox movies, Evan Peters.
Yep. If you have subtitles on for that scene when she's staring at him, it says that Wanda is staring at the Quicksilver from the X-Men films. That's what the subtitles say in brackets. So it's just like, oh, okay.
And he's just like, hey, sis.
Yeah. I like it, but I don't think he's Quicksilver. I think that's Mephisto.
Just taking that form.
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
And I would love to see him as Mephisto. He would have a lot of fun with that role. And I like, yes, he's good as Quicksilver, but he's done Quicksilver already. I think this would be much better suited to his talents as an actor, where you could really get to kind of see him let loose, and he'd do a good villain.
Now then, I mean, since we have multiverse capability, does that mean that now we get to have the other Quicksilver come back as Kick-Ass?
Only if we get to that 1980, 84 or 86 universe. If we adapt that, then yes,
the Anthony.
Yeah.
No, episode 5. Just I thought about it the whole day at work. I was just like, I can't wait to get home. I'm gonna rewatch that episode. It's so good.
So good. I love the twins also, just aging
up whenever they kind of feel like it.
10 years old.
Wait, now hang on there a minute, you young whippersnapper.
Yeah, that was fun. And I love that moment with is it Agnes? Where she's just like, do you want me to take that from the top?
Oh, what wasn't that in? That was in 4, right?
No, I think that was in 5. That was at the beginning of 5 because that's what kind of started Vision questioning everything.
I just remember the Vision. See, I think that was in 4 because then the thing that Vision did to me that really tipped me off that he started knowing was he walked in and he was like, oh, and the small animal. And it's ding dong. And he was like, I bet that's somebody coming with the exact things we need right now.
Yeah, that's all 5. Yeah, 4 is entirely the one that's removed, where it's just like, it's what us. We interrupt this broadcast, and it's literally an interruption.
Oh, you're right.
No, 5 was 5 is where you have all that, and he starts really questioning everything at every turn. And I love when she starts rolling the credits.
No, there's a family. What the heck?
Even at the end in her fight, and
Right.
he's just like, no, screw that.
What you're talking about?
Stop lying to me!
This. All of this is for.
Oh, that was the thing that I wanted to tell you so much at work. Like, oh man, there's this thing that she does at the end that you were. It was, yeah. Like, no, you're not ending the fight. You're not just running the credits on me.
Yeah, like that. I'm really excited for, and I can't wait to see where this next episode goes.
And I hope, I told you this. I hope they do if that one was 80s, because like I said, I think the script was very like facts of life and family ties ish, on all the graphics at the beginning, and then so I thought, well, if they're gonna do the 90s, then they should do something like Full House. Let her spoof her sisters a little bit.
Yeah. They got the twins.
Right. So I thought that would be fun to do.
Yeah.
Because I know. Well, we talked about there's only a couple of years difference between her and her older sisters, who obviously were extremely famous,
right,
long before they were adults. But so it'll be fun to see where they go play with that, because obviously we know from some of the press releases that there's a Halloween episode at some point, or what appears to be a Halloween episode where she's wearing the more traditional,
as is he.
Yeah,
for the very. And that
the green, and
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be a blast.
I'm excited.
I feel like we're gonna see him or Quicksilver also in the comic accurate,
the blue and silver.
That'd be so fun.
That'd be funny.
But there's a rumor going around that because the series only has a 9-episode count. But there's a rumor going around that 9th episode is going to happen, and then at the end it's just going to be just like, she's just going to be like, no. And that following week there's a 10th episode. Which would be kind of fun. It would tie into them fucking with the rules of television and everything. Just like, no, we're not done yet.
Make it go up to 13. Give it a spooky number.
Yeah. Or 666 episodes in this season.
A total of 666 minutes.
Right. Oh, that would be fun. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what they do with this, and it's making me just more and more excited for the other shows that they have coming out too. Like if they're all done to this quality, like I agree, I'm on board. But you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, not about those. I mean, but I was agreeing with you that now Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'm a little more excited for.
Yeah, Loki especially, I'm more excited for. But yeah, that's gonna wrap this up. Thank you all for watching. Again, if you didn't already, please like this video. If you did, dislike it if you didn't. Make sure to comment about kind of what your thoughts are on this. Like, do you think this is actually Quicksilver, or is this Mephisto, or is this something else?
Squirrel Girl.
Oh, please no. Shit, we are gonna get Squirrel Girl at some point, aren't we? She's probably gonna travel through time and beat up Thanos.
Defeat Galactus again.
Yeah. Oh God. But with that, I will hope you all stay safe and catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.